is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all another video. I want to talk about that Indy. This is a team that's been very interesting. This is a team that has some hype as their team changed a lot coming into this season, and they don't have their all-star, all-NBA Victor Oladipo at the beginning of the season. This was a team that was fighting and resilient all year. They ended up getting 48 wins, close to 50, and that was having their best player miss a significant amount of time. They didn't give up. They didn't quit, and they still played together. They still play with a lot of heart. Those are the type of team that you want to play on, especially when they got a tough-minded coach and Nate McMillan, and the fact that he continued to trust and believe in his teammates, and they did it for themselves, and they was able to have a better ending than a lot of people expected them to have. Even finishing second in their division after getting off to a great start, they was able to hold a top 5 position. Like, I really wasn't surprised about that, but I really thought that they can do it when they went through those situations, and they did it. But they didn't get the home court advantage, which was the unfortunate part. But what I will say is, when you look at this Indiana team, this team has a lot of uniqueness to it. You got Miles Turner, you got Sabonis. Everybody said that they're going to have to pick one or the other. Turner is the better player because he can space the floor plus protect the rim, becoming one of the best defenders in the entire NBA, especially clearing up that paint. They had Roy Hibbert. I remember when Miles Turner first got drafted, I felt like they was going to replace Roy Hibbert with Miles Turner, but it was just obvious, just because he's more mobile, more athletic. He has a higher ceiling offensively because Roy Hibbert was just a paint guy. He only can score by the paint, and Miles Turner can go all the way out to the three-point line. Plus, he had a nice little turnaround fadeaway. Plus, he was able to knock down mid-range in the pick and pop. It is a way more versatile player. Plus, he just had better athleticism, so he had a higher ceiling, and he hasn't become an all-star like Roy Hibbert or the defender that we thought he would be by now, but he has also became a lot better defensively quickly because he's still a young player. People forget how young Miles Turner really is. He only been in the league for a couple years. People know that, but they don't know how young he really is, which is the crazy part because he came in so young and so raw, and he has developed into a solid player. Obviously, when I seen Miles Turner in college, a lot of people told me he didn't get the time. They wouldn't let him play his game. They wouldn't let him play at all, and he still was a top 12 pick and still became one of the better bigs in the NBA. And I still think that he will be an all-star in the NBA. And hopefully it's this year. Not having Victor Oladipo, they're going to need somebody that they can rely on. And they're going to have to rely on 2 guys, Miles Turner, Malcolm Brogdon, to create or help set up a lot of offensive plays for their players on this team. And when you look at Miles Turner, this is a team that really needs him to do something special because they're going to have to make up that scoring in the inside somehow, because if they bring Sabonis off the bench, that means the main person they're going to rely on offensively and defensively will be Miles Turner. I do like the fact that they picked up guys like TJ Warren, because this is a guy that has proven that he can score at the NBA level. He proven that he can play that small forward position and some small ball forward and be effective and stretch out the floor, because he worked a little bit more on his threes and showed that he's capable of doing that. But he was playing on a team that was so bad that you didn't really know if it was empty. You didn't really know if he can play for a team that really matters. And he has that opportunity to shred those demons because he's playing for a team that everybody thinks is going to be one of the top 5 teams in the NBA, especially when Victor Oladipo comes back and catches his footing. But they ended up losing Bogdanovich, and they got a solid wing back in return, and Warren on a decent contract. And I think that he really wants this just as much as we want it because he wants to play for a winner. He was wasting a lot of years in Phoenix doing nothing. But now he actually can compete and play for something, which is the playoffs. And this team, honestly, on paper, they can make it to the second round depending on how high they get. Because I think that this team is going to be a decent regular season team, because we don't know when Oladipo officially coming back, and we don't know if Malcolm Brogdon can stay healthy enough. But they're paying him like that. This is a guy that's making 85 million, $20 million a year. So I think that Brogdon, if they're going to play him at that two, which they said they was, I think that this is going to be huge for him because he's going to be able to operate in the pick and roll with guys like Sabonis and Miles Turner that fits him. And if you go under the screen, he can hit you with the three. He can beat you off the dribble and get his floaters and his little push shots. He also can get to the basket and get to the free throw line and knock those down. But he also is a smart, witty, well-paced player that can make the right passes while also being able to put pressure on the defense. And I think that that's something that they didn't have. They had the Darren Collisons and the Corey Josephs, but they wasn't as consistent of shooters. Plus, they wasn't 6'5", and they wasn't the defenders that can guard 1, 2, and 3, and some forwards depending on what lineup is out there. And that's the versatility that Malcolm Brogdon gives them if healthy. And they didn't have that. They had Tyreek Evans, but he ain't the player that Malcolm Brogdon is projected to be and has been so far. So I think that really will help Victor Oladipo, especially defensively. You don't really have to worry about, they can guard that wing position in those guard positions, and they both are solid, respectable defenders, and that's something that he really didn't have in the past. And then you look at Jeremy Lamb. Jeremy Lamb is a guy that's older. We thought that he'd get a decent pay job and how he played in Charlotte. He ended up leaving. He's going to be relied on early in the season because they don't have Oladipo, so he's going to be asked to play that two position and give them some floor space and give them somewhat of some shot creation. And I think that he can fill that role enough to where they can win about fifth, fourth place. And if they do that, I think Jeremy Lamb will be fine in that role for a short period of time. But I don't think that he really is a starter. I think he is a bench player. But, they didn't expect Oladipo to be out so long. And if he does come back a little bit before the All-Star break, I think Lamb, if healthy, can give them some production at that shooting guard position, but he also can give them value off the bench if he does be able to come back earlier. McDermott, they paid him pretty decently, but he is a guy that can play some 3 and some 4 depending on what lineups is out there, and he can give you semi-shot creation. He can be a deadly three-point shooter, especially because Malcolm and Victor like to kick it out when they draw the paint by collapsing it, by getting that first step to the basket. And if you don't rotate, they're going to float it or lay it in. If you do, you got people like Brogdon and Victor. Also now Doug McDermott. Plus you still got to worry about Miles Turner if he's out on the court. But you also got Lamb, and you also got Warren that can knock down those shots too. So the floor is going to be more spread. They're going to have more size, and they're going to have better guard play. And I think that that's what the modern NBA is, guys that can switch and guard multiple positions but also make plays at their position. And I think that they have that. It's just about being able to get Oladipo back, which is the biggest piece to this, because he's very good being able to put the ball in the basket, being able to hit the threes off the ball, on the ball, collapse the defense, gives them a guy that can knock down spot up shots, get out in transition, and push the ball. It's going to be fun to see him and Brogdon in the transition, being able to hit the three, the floater, the pull up, or even get to the basket and get the finish. But this is a team that's going to get a lot of steals. They're going to get a lot of transition because of the blocks and because of their perimeter defense. It's going to be a funner team to watch. Plus, on top of that, they have better floor spacing, and they got some guys that can really be deadly. I think Sabonis is going to be an important piece. Everybody feel like he's going to get traded, but they're going to need him early on in the game because he is a productive big that can give them some size and some rebounding, but he also can finish around the basket and give them a different look when Miles Turner is not on the court. Plus, they don't really have significant depth that can really come in and contribute interior wise right now. And I think that Sabonis can still fill that role while he will still be on the team. And if it don't work, and if it do work, he'll have more value because he have more opportunity, which will inflate him a little bit. And then you can try to trade him at the trade deadline if Oladipo comes back. And then you would just have to use TJ Leaf or Johnson to fill that role. I also like Aaron Holiday. He plays solid for them. That allowed them to lose some guys like Collison and Corey Joseph because he can play a bigger role now that they got Brogdon. He won't be asked to do crazy things, but he is a reliable point guard in this league, and he does fit what they're trying to do offensively. So when you look at this roster, it don't scream championship. They don't scream best team in the East, but you got a lot of guys that know their roles, know how to play their games, get to their spots. They understand how Nate McMillan is trying to utilize them and how to get in their spots so they can knock down those high percentage shots and the shots that they're comfortable with. But they also got another guy that can create shots and give them floor spacing and give them smart plays. And I just want to see if Miles Turner going to take his game to the next level. It seems like we say that every year, but at the end of the day, it's just true. Miles Turner is capable of doing more. They're paying him for a bigger his contract is a lot bigger, and they wanted him to increase his role. He did it defensively, but Miles Turner has the potential to do it offensively. He can do everything offensively. It just he comes and goes. One minute he's hot. One minute he hit a couple shots and then he'll disappear. One minute he'll be dominating and then you won't see him for the rest of the quarter and the rest of the game. I really want to see a locked in and engaged Miles Turner being aggressive when he has his shot, being aggressive at the 3-point line, posting up just a little bit more because the ability that team's going to switch. I want to see him just get that hook shot and get that space up game. And even if he had to go back to that bump, turn, fade away that was automatic in college and in summer league, I think he can still get that done too, and still anchor that defense at the same time. So Miles Turner is very young; he's 23. He can do more, and I think we all know that. We all waiting for him to do more. It's just about is he really wanting to do it, and if the coach is going to allow him to do it. But anytime you can improve your team internally, and you can improve it with chemistry, and you can improve it with the growth and development, that makes your team even better because they got a higher ceiling. And I think Miles Turner showed that defensively. Now we just want to see if his offense can finally take off like we all think that it can. And, Luke playing in FIBA, I seen how defensively getting the rebounds, protecting the paint, and how crazy defensively he is. And I think that that's one of his best suits. But I also see him being underutilized, and I also see him fading away. So if that's going to be the same Miles Turner without the Victor Oladipo, this is going to be a middle in the pack team or at the bottom because you still do got Philly, you still do got the Bucks, and you still do got Boston. And then after that, you got Toronto and other teams that can, be in the same position that this Indiana team should be in. And Indiana can get that home court. Indiana can be a surprise team, but with Oladipo not being available at the beginning of the start of the season, somebody's going to have to help Brogdon out, and they have some players that will be willing to do it, but we all want to see Miles Turner take that next step in his career, and if he do it defensively and he can do his thing offensively, there's no denying that he can be an all-star in this league, especially in the East. And if they get a good record, that's going to increase his chances of making the All-Star team. So either way it go, this is going to be a good team. This is going to be a fun team. This should be a playoff team, and I do have them making the playoffs. But also, this is going to be a frustrating team to play against because the majority of the teams have guard play, and they have two of the best perimeter defenders at their positions on the same team. Plus, they got Miles Turner backing them up with the rotations and the help defense and the ability to block and contest shots, but also rebound to a certain extent. So this is going to be a tough team to play. May not be the game you get up for. May not be a game you're running and excited to see, but it's going to be some good basketball because they well coach. They're very smart and strategic, and I just want to see this team healthy. And once we see them healthy, we can see what this team is really made of. This is a team that gave it to LeBron in 7 games. This is a team that won 48 games. This is also a team that needed some help, needed some better players, and I feel like they got enough. But it's just about how they're grouped together. Can they players take another step in their careers? I know Oladipo going to be different because he hasn't even been able to play really because he had that major injury. But they're going to really need him if they want to be a team that advances to the second round. And that's going to be the thing. Can they get out of the first round this time? Or will they be another team that make it and be gone right away? We won't know until the season starts, until the playoffs start. But what we do know, this team should be fun to watch on both sides of the court. And I think they will coach. So that helps too. Let me know what you guys think about the Pacers in the comment section below. Quindy Dub, I'm Bell. Like this video, check out my older videos on my channel. I have many playlists. I break down rookies. I break down players. I break down summer league. I do cover the draft, and I got a mock draft up already. Not only that, I do podcasts and I also talk about the game of basketball, whether it comes to summer league, free agency, trade deadline, buyouts, and also I cover top 10 discussions and stuff like that. So you like this type of video, you like the NBA, check out my older videos and my playlists. I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching.